All right, we're getting underway. 7 seconds and we'll be going green. If you can hear me out there, I'm having issues with the audio. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm not sure if you can. I'm going to go out there and put a microphone out there for them guys. All right. Can y'all hear anything? Uh, Jordan Jones, it's going pretty well under the circumstances. Been a rough day. Um, if you can hear me, Jordan Jones, can you please let me know if you can hear me? Appreciate the like. All right, I appreciate it, Eddie. Thank you for letting me know, man. Having some issues hearing. I had some special things set up, but I was afraid that you guys couldn't hear me, so I didn't end up doing them this race, but we'll do them next race. I'll show you what these guys are racing for tonight. I'm kind of excited to show you. As our tonight's sponsor for this race weekend for Fairview IT Management Cup Series is Howered Construction. For all your construction needs, of course, give them a call at 270-499-1201 and ask for Jason. Here's the trophy that we'll be giving out tonight, Fairview IT Cup Series by Lanes Raceway. Of course, Howard Construction there at the top. Whoever gets first place in these two races will end up getting this trophy and be able to take it home with them. And, of course, all the bragging rights that go along with that. Plus, they get assigned the top of Lanes Raceway. All right, so currently Randy Kirtley in the lead with 6 laps with a median of 6.48, about a second or so faster than most. Tim there biting at his heels with the 6.92. Glenn Burden, 8.12 there on black. Ed Howe, 7.36 there on yellow. Robert Whitaker with a 7.04, I think. And Gerald Settle with a 7.26 on blue, just increasing his median time to a 5.38. As we're trying to go a live track here, we have several setters setting out right now, as we got 12 total racers. That'll be 12 total heats. So everybody that's setting out, of course, has their cars up here in the window. We got 4 of them up, and that's the correct number. As for Lanes Raceway, we have a penalty set up if they don't have their cars in that window during the time that the race is going live. And it's a 10-lap penalty if nobody puts their cars up here during their set out, plus another 10-lap penalty if they don't help track marshal. So we're trying to run a wide open track to get through these races as quick as possible, but at the same time, these would be the guys that really take racing to another level of seriousness here at Lanes Raceway, getting in this series. And I believe the purse is currently at 3,800 or 3,600 currently for the season. Of course, half of that, if I'm not mistaken, goes to first place. I might be mistaken on that, but I know that first through 10th place will be paid out in a structure here at Lanes Raceway. Now, later on, I might possibly get some sort of list or something going on to better break down what the payout structure is. But for the meantime, you can go to our website at www.lanesraceway.com and get the information there under the series info. see Ed Howe there on yellow. In the orange Hardy's car, Russ Wheeler. Looks like we got a car come off there at the final corner. Tom Payton there. Tom Payton just recently bought him a new controller, some grips, neon green ones. He's earned the nickname Slimer. That is currently his nickname here at Lanes Raceway. So we got two cars under the bridge there. My wife currently putting cars on under the bridge. Let's go, Randy. Big Boss Man, Take the Win by Jordan Jones. Yeah, he is pretty much a boss around here for sure. Hard to beat, but I have seen it done. I've actually partook in some of those wins. We got a wrecked car down here on black. Hopefully a track call or something takes place there, as that car was just sitting there spinning. That'd be Glenn Burton's car. Looks like Glenn Burton's going to take his car and go see what's going on with it. And that looks like to be the end of the heat. Let's go to the track mate, take a quick look. Because we currently have Randy Kirtley off white running 26 laps on white. Gerald Suttle 24 laps on blue with an average of 24, being this is our first heat. Of course, Glenn Burton, Bo McPherson, or excuse me, not Glenn Burton. Glenn Burton was actually racing there on black. Bo McPherson, Jay Latham, Paul Woosley, and Sam Nelson currently on sit-out rotation. But after this heat, one of them will be going back in. Currently, I can't tell you which one that is. Most likely it'll be Bo McPherson or Sam Nelson. All right, I had to answer a few questions there. So we got 1 minute and 18 seconds left to go. Let's take a look at that trophy again. All right, as you can see,
the race starts in 1 minute.
Sounds like the sound from the track mates coming through the computer now. So I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but they're not getting any sound outside there for some reason, as it seems my computer's gone on the fritz a little bit.
Race starts in 40 seconds. Race starts in 20 seconds. Race starts in 5 seconds.
All right, well, I tried to take a look at it. It seems that
Get ready.
there seems to be somewhat of an issue currently.
Go. Yellow flag.
I thank you, Chris. I think the issue that we're having there, Chris, is not that you guys can hear me, but that the track racers out there currently cannot hear the track mate. It seems for some reason or another it's reverted itself back through this software. It seems like anytime I try to do any kind of alteration to any of this stuff on this software, it tends to break itself. So, anyways, we'll get through it. These guys will just have to watch the top of the screen possibly, and it does give a indicator of lights. So as we see here, Gerald Suttle there running a meeting of 4.53 on purple, currently in the lead, as Bo McPherson comes in on red.
Yellow flag.
And we get a yellow flag there.
Ready.
All right, it seems like the sound's back outside for some reason. I guess it auto-fixed itself. Really some interesting bugs with some of this software sometimes, and there seems to be no good software to fix all the issues when trying to run a full broadcast like this. You know, that's how it is. We'll figure out
1 minute
the bugs.
left.
We'll work out the kinks.
Halfway through the
We
heat.
continue under racing there. Tim Hall, 32 laps on green, running at 4.54
Yellow flag.
median time, nipping at the heels of Gerald Suttle. Oh, appreciate them hearts.
Get
flying
ready.
Across the screen. I can feel the love. I truly can.
Flag.
Glenn Burden there putting his car back on yellow on the backstretch. Sometimes it seems that a lot of the issues come down to people trying to exit out of that last corner there and getting a little too much gas on it. Their sensitivity not set perfect. And they get a little wild there in the back and twist out a little bit because that's a sharp turn back there.
Yellow flag.
Looks like we had a rider there, possibly on green, which would be Tim Hall's lane.
Get ready.
McPherson possibly putting that car back on black, which would be Tom Payton's car. Tom Payton, you see him there at the front of your screen with the white shirt on.
Yellow flag.
So we get a big wreck coming out of the high banks there, going right into the bridge currently where Paul Woosley's standing. Paul Woosley giving his car over to Bo McPherson. Bo McPherson trying to, seems possibly going under the high banks there for some reason. Maybe something came off his car.
Ready.
As we go back green racing.
Go.
So there on white lane, you seen Randy Kirtley pick up Jason Howard's car and move it up the high banks there a little bit. That's just to keep it from sliding down and coming out of the track. We got us another flood of hearts going through here. Appreciate that. Speaking of the hearts, if you look down there in the bottom of your screen,
10 seconds left,
top, depending on if you're on a phone or a computer, hit the like, subscribe, and share button to
Yellow flag.
all three places that we stream, which would be YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. And, you know, share the love around. Get Lanes Raceway out there and give these guys the attention they deserve.
Get ready.
So we see there Ed Howe's car on orange. Randy Kirtley fixes it.
Go.
Jordan
Red
Jones
flag.
says, I might be down a little bit, brother. Eagle Eye Security on the way. Well, we sure like to see you down here, Jordan. You can help us track marshal the track. Let's head to the track mate real quick. Take a look at some of these data numbers and see how people are stacking up with one another. As we see both Gerald Suttle and Robert Whitaker on blue within one lap of each other. Currently, too, Tim Hall on green, kind of taking off there on green versus Robert. Usually their two cars are quite similar in speed. Jason Howard, 21 laps on orange, and Ed Howe, 25. Ed Howe with that brand new car really showing what he can do. So he gets 17 laps also on yellow, 42 laps total. Ed Howe might be one to actually be watching here currently. As we see Tom Payton there with 25 blistering laps on black in comparison to Glenn Burton's 15. This may be an average of what most people might run, but as we just got the data here currently, we don't know till later. As these guys have approximately 1 minute and 42 seconds, let's take us a quick look in the pits and see what these guys are up to about fixing their car. Now, we know that Bo McPherson kind of left out a little bit early there to work on his car. You see him up there working on his car, where he just left. There's Ed Howe himself wearing an orange shirt to match his car. Ed Howe currently running the Russ Wheeler Days of Thunder car. And we got Robert Whitaker there working on his car. Looks like all these guys doing minor work to their vehicles as they go back out there to get ready to go to race.
The race starts in 1 minute.
Bring your attention yet again, as I do every time that we do races here at Lanes Raceway, to our pinball high scores. As you can see, they've kind of went up since the last time you've seen it. Big Daddy there, Glenn Burton, still in the lead with 89 million.
Race
Stock
starts in
BMX,
40
that
seconds.
would be Tom Payton, currently getting on the leaderboards with that and Rush. Big Daddy currently in second on Rush. My wife currently in first. But come on down and get in a tournament with us when we hold tournaments, and have yourself a good time, or just play for fun. But
Race starts in 20
pinball's
seconds.
a really good, fun family event that everybody can enjoy. And if you have any questions on how to actually play the pinball, I can actually help you guys with that. Let's get a little bit different view here.
Race starts in 5 seconds.
We're going to go back to the road course here, as we got 2 seconds before the lights drop. Yet again, our race is sponsored by Howered Construction. Any of your construction needs, I know Jason Howard, he's actually in this race.
Get ready.
He's actually built a building for me back whenever I lived down on 1080 and outskirts of Livermore. And I'll tell you what, did an exceptional job. I worked on my Mustang in there for years, and I just remember being in the hot summer, how insulated it was. It was still
Yellow
very
flag.
cool inside of the building. And one thing I can tell you is he'll give you a fair price, and he'll work with you. I've known Jason pretty much my whole life, and he's a really good dude, stand-up guy. So we see a car coming off there on black. It'd be Gerald Suttle, our current lap leader, as he turns a 4.37 median. Looks like Tim Hall nipping at his heels there with the 3.97. Tim Hall starting to come alive here on the orange track. As Tim currently, when it comes to GRCs, is the head honcho here at Lanes Raceway. Guys constantly trying to take that giant down on the tri-oval track. Also there on the white lane, you see Ed Howe there. We've been seeing a lot of him this race.
Get ready.
Car's really putting some blistering times up too, lap-wise. Jason Howard really running in there to help Tim out.
Go.
We appreciate that. We go back green racing. We hear us a big hard hit.
Yellow flag.
Cars coming out of the final turn there, having a little bit of a scuffle.
Ready.
Jordan Jones says, other than Eagle Eye security car and GRC, LOL.
Go.
I think Jordan thinks he can take Tim Hall. Well, that would be between him and Tim Hall, but I think Tim might have something to say about that. There's a big cluster of them go up underneath the bridge there by Randy Kirtley, guarding the inside there. I know whenever I watch the bottom side of the entry of Dead Man's Corner there underneath the bridge, I tend to always just kind of rest my head up against the track.
1 minute
left.
left.
To be a bad practice at one
Halfway
time.
through the
Jason
heat.
snags the car and puts it on red. That's Jay Latham's car. And one time I had my head laying up against there, and I'll tell you what, that car come off faster than fast and hit that pole and hit me upside the head, and that was Glenn Burton that gave me a warning call like, hey, keep your head away from there. So Bo McPherson comes off there.
Get ready.
On green. Bo McPherson actually supporting driving one of our painted bodies here.
Go.
Race pace bodies by Ralph Thorne. I had to take a look back there and remember what they were called, but I tell you what, I'm very pleased with the way those bodies look as they were painted by what seems to be a professional. 3 or 4 different colors of paint per body. That's kind of unheard of, especially at the prices that those bodies are coming in, rivaling boogie bodies. As we see Jay Latham coming off there again on Red Lane. Now here on the orange track, it's extremely dangerous to run the red, the white, and the green lane with Indy cars. But with these NASCARs, they tend to do a little bit better as they've got a little bit
Yellow
of a
flag.
wider stance and a little more weight in the front end. But it's still just good practice
Get
to
ready.
blip the red, the white, and the green lanes. So we see
Yellow
another
flag.
car off there in the back stretch. Bo McPherson grabbing it. That's Robert Whitaker's car that come off. Like I said, that back turn there is really somewhat difficult to come out
Get
of
ready.
without getting too aggressive on the trigger, as all these guys are really racing for position.
Go.
They don't really want to let off that trigger. They want to get out of there as fast as possible. And when them cars are already loose coming out of the S corner, sometimes that seems to be detrimental as it makes their cars come off.
Heat
Take a
over.
look at TrackMate again and get a little bit more information on this data that we got coming in. Because now we got a few lanes here where we got 3 drivers that have drove lanes, Orange being one of them. Ed Howe, 25 laps. Glenn Burton turning 27. That's 2 laps ahead of Ed. So Glenn Burton, keep an eye on him for sure. And Jason Howard there with 21 laps. Now there on yellow lane, you see Tom Payton there with a blistering 24 laps. Next to him would be Ed Howe and Glenn Burton. Now you'll see too that Ed Howe has now came off the track as he just finished his white lane, so he'll be helping track marshal. Another lane that we've had 3 run is both blue, purple, and yellow. All of them relatively close, as you see Tim Hall getting 27 laps on blue, and Gerald Suttle with a blistering 28 laps on purple. So as we compare some of the data, everybody relatively pretty close in the 20 laps as these races continue. We'll go to the pits real quick as we have 1 minute and 40 seconds before we go back green. But these guys are really pushing to get that trophy. You see Jay Latham there in the orange working on his car. And Robert Whitaker there in the gray. Bo McPherson in the top left of your corner there in a dark blue shirt. Tim Hall, of course, in his usual spot, wearing some beautiful shirts. Me and him kind of got similar tastes when it comes to shirts. We like the wild. We like the beautiful button-ups. And, of course, I like the Hawaiians. But they're quite comfortable. I think that's why we both wear them.
The race starts in 1 minute.
Let's take a quick look and see what it looks like outside today in Livermore. Looks like we had a little bit of rain.
Race starts in
earlier
40
today.
seconds.
A little bit humid. Still yet a nice, beautiful day here to be racing some slot cars here in Livermore. And just a beautiful town to do it in. It seems my cobwebs drop back down, maybe a little bit of water weight helping it go. As we see, we got a tiny bit of a breeze going on there.
Race starts in
Probably
20
enough to
seconds.
keep you cool if you're riding that bicycle there next to my truck. So we got 10 seconds before we go back live.
Race starts in 5 seconds.
Let's take a quick look here at the trophy again. That's what these guys are racing for. Remember, call Howered Construction, 270-499-1201.
Get ready.
As we go go green here. You see Randy Kirtley there
Go.
busting their track off. Ooh, and we get 3 of them whipping around there underneath Dead Man's Corner. See Randy hurrying up, getting to his knees to see if one of them come off. Them guys really went in for it, and I guess the glue really held there as those cars kind of stayed on. Ooh, and we got a hard hit there coming out of High Banks as Randy's putting these cars back on. Some of these guys not even waiting, just trying to push cars aside. Oh, got another one off on High Banks. Probably come off of red, white, or green, possibly. See somebody there working on somebody's car there. Yes, that was on red, Paul Woosley's car. So it was Ed Howe fixing his car there.
Yellow flag.
And we got a rider, man. Big shout from the guys out there. See Ed Howe there helping Gerald Suttle's car
Get
out.
ready.
Kind of get a little bit straight there. Might be a little too much of an angle there, but we'll see.
Go.
So we go back green racing again. These guys really whipping it in there. I'll tell you what, Paul Woosley coming in there hard
1 minute
on
left.
red and really holding it together.
Halfway through the heat.
So we get another rider call out there as it's getting pushed back on
Yellow
green,
flag.
Jay Latham's car, and we get another rider through the S turns. Really frantic. A lot of stuff going on here on this orange track. I really need to get me a camera put in down
Get
there
ready.
before the season's up. That seems like a lot of action going on down there between the donut, the S corner, and the exiting corner.
Go.
Ooh, and I heard a hard hit there in the high banks of the corner. 2 of them hit. As it seems that each one of these cars here really gnarled up their braid possibly, because these guys are frantically working on these cars to get them back in order. Really got to blip them cars on red, white, and green. Orange is a dangerous track to be on if you're not really paying attention. As there must be something seriously wrong with that car, as Randy is still working on that car. It must have took a severe hit, as we see it just hemorrhaging laps currently. Finally,
10 seconds
Jay gets
left.
his car put back on. Cannot be pleased with that. But it's been stressed to every one of these guys that's raced the orange track, and every one of these guys has,
Red flag.
that it's almost an essential thing to let off on red, white, and green. So we get another lane rotation
Heat
here. Let's take
over.
a look at the track mate. As we can tell here, Tim Hall currently running the best that's ever been ran so far on red lane. Bo McPherson there struggling a little bit, also Paul Woosley. Jay Latham actually fared out pretty well, even though that big pause there that you seen Randy Kirtley working on his car, still up 5 laps. So he was really blistering it there on red lane. As Jay will be coming off this time, or actually Jay just came back in, excuse me. Whoever's on white is will be coming off. And I think it might be Glenn Burton. But all the average times currently, Gerald Suttle, really, his car really just doing well today with a 25.2 average lap. He must be dodging all them wrecks. Got 1 minute and 42 seconds. Want to swap us over here as we look at Howard Construction's trophy tonight. Call him 270-499-1201 for all your construction needs. And also for all your IT management needs. This series, fully sponsored by Fairview IT Management. It's the reason why the purse is so big is between all of our sponsors here for Lanes Raceways races. But somebody gets to take this coveted trophy home for first place as they'll hoist this puppy in the air, representing both Fairview IT Cup Series and Howard Construction for this race weekend.
The race starts in 1 minute.
See Ed Howe there.
Race
Also
starts
got
in
Bo
40
McPherson
seconds.
here right next to me. He says, "This is wild," is what he says. As he's out there actually racing amongst all these guys. It is literally a dog pile of men trying to get their win, for sure. As I'd messaged Jason Howe, there's my wife there smiling behind me. I must crack her up.
Race starts in
Jason
20
Howard,
seconds.
of course, he sponsored this, so I've been keeping him updated with all the way that this race weekend was going to entail for him and everything. And he said he's coming for that trophy, and he wants it.
Race
He
starts
said
in
he might
5
have
seconds.
to take somebody out to get it, but he's willing to get it. So I know all these guys eager, really wanting to get that trophy and move on to the next race weekend. But it'll be a concurrent effort as we'll take the laps of this orange race.
Get
track,
ready.
and we'll combine it with the lime green track after this, and whoever's got the most laps between both of these races will be our victor, and we'll be able to hoist that trophy. And say we start back green racing, you see these cars running as hard as they can under that bridge. Usually that bridge is the dead man's corner, but it seems that everybody's got that down pretty good now.
Get ready.
As they round that donut, but it seems that the hard hitter tonight is the exiting corner to go on the back stretch.
Go.
As we see a lot of wrecks taking place there. Got a car off there on the S corner on red lane. That'd be Sam.
Yellow flag.
So we get a yellow flag.
Get
here.
ready.
Most of the guys, when they get here, they do a lot of practicing on the green track.
Go.
I encourage them all to really do some racing on the orange track, as that is our most difficult track to learn and get down. As I do with every racer, beginner and old, I always try to get them all on this orange track, because once they learn the orange track and learn how to do the trigger control around the donut and the hard brake there underneath the bridge and the kind
Yellow
of feathering
flag.
between the S turn, if you can get those three techniques down, you can run any track. And plus, if you go to other places where they have bigger tracks like
ready.
Blue Kings and Purple Miles and Paper Clips and stuff like that, you just fit right in at home.
Go.
And you can run some really competitive laps. So it's just a good training aid. If you want to get better and be better at it, as we see Sam coming off there on red, really needs to blip that trigger possibly, as these cars, sometimes they float, but then other times they hit
1 minute
hard.
left.
So,
Halfway through the heat.
like I said, every one of these racers been told we do have a little bit of a hump there right before you enter the high banks, and you're usually at full speed. As we get two cars,
Yellow
three
flag.
cars on the back stretch. I hear Jay Latham saying his body's messed up. Somebody's gonna have to fix it. It's our open class here. The Fairview IT Cup Series is
Get ready.
one of our only open classes, as you can pretty much do anything other than change the chassis or the motor.
Go.
But you can put ball bearings in these cars, run hollow axles, silver braid, run voodoo drops. I mean, you can even zap your motor if you want, but I don't think it would do much good for these type of motors. But nonetheless, it's an open class. Seems these guys have found themselves somewhat of a rhythm now. So we focus a little bit on the median times again. Gerald Suttle, 4.11
10 seconds left.
median time. Currently not the fastest, as we see Bo McPherson there with the 4.05 median time, really putting in the laps.
Red flag.
And Paul Woosley with a 3.95. Must have missed
Heat
that.
over.
So we head over to the track mate, take a little bit of a look at purple, as that seems to be a fast lane for a lot of guys tonight. 28 laps by Gerald Suttle, really holding the lead down on that purple lane, as Gerald Suttle really kind of running away with this, with an average of 25.8 laps. 24.4 laps by Tim Hall, 23.8 by Robert Whitaker, and Tom Payton with 22.4, rounding up your top four. All these guys really putting in pretty respectable times, relatively all equal. within 19 to 25 average laps. And this could all be consistent too with getting involved in wrecks is one of the biggest things. It looks like red lane and white lane is taking quite a few of the victims too. As hang on one second. All right, I'm back. I had to help a fellow racer out as these guys are really destroying these cars tonight and having some issues. I think a lot of it has to do with, like I said, red lane and white lane.
Starts in 1 minute.
The non-blipping's taking place. Of course, these guys are really racing for position. They really want as many laps as they can get on here. But sometimes the best way to get laps is just to blip that trigger and lose a tenth. You know, especially if you don't have your car just tuned just right. Those lanes are detrimental to people.
Race starts in 40 seconds.
40 seconds before we get this race back underway. I want to bring your attention to tonight. Kips to Go brought pizza. We get them to bring some prepackaged pizzas here for all of our racers that want it. If you're in the local area and you like Kips to Go's pizza, well,
race starts in 20 seconds.
Because I'll tell you, you see my wife there. Got a piece there and a prepackaged little cardboard piece. Pretty big pieces of pizza, to be honest. It's almost like a quarter pizza for $4 a slice here. You get pepperoni or cheese. We don't get really involved in what type of pizzas we get. Well, we get the classics, the kinds that people like. I'm telling my wife we need to bring some Frank's Red Hot down here. But then maybe our toilet paper bill might possibly go up a little bit if we did that.
Get ready.
As we get ready to go back green here.
Go.
See there, Bo McPherson on black, really just ripping it through that high banks. You see Jason Howered taking the technique like I like to take there, right at Dead Man's Corner, getting that eye right up in that bridge. You can really get to those cars quick and be a real good track marshal, which Jason is an exceptional track marshal, I've found. Of course, he comes from RCs, and he was letting us know before he started racing here that he was probably the best pit man there was. And I can see it here with that eagle eye he's got underneath that
yellow
bridge.
flag.
Car coming off in the backstretch there, flipping. You see Bo McPherson looked like he was going to attempt to climb under the track. Might have got stuck under there. It's pretty tight back there on those lanes. We see Jason getting Shepherd's hook there to grab that car. But yeah, if you keep your eye down there below that bridge, you can see those cars that come off on your side, and you can really get them quick. As we see Sam Nelson there getting his car and doing a little bit of work there at the edge of the green track there on Dead Man's Corner. Oh, he's running. He's going to try to get her back in there as quick as he can. See Ed Howe there correcting Tim Hall's car there before it goes into the high banks.
Get ready.
Ed Howe raced with us down there in the orange track. Me, him, my brother, and my dad, really, and Glenn also, really enjoyed racing those hard body super late models. We all used to beat and bang on those, and we liked the Indy cars too down in the basement. Ooh, it looked like that car on orange was really flying there. Robert Whitaker currently turning a 4.43 median.
1 minute left.
Halfway
through the heat.
His car blistering fast, 4.09 median. Get a couple cars coming off there. A lot of guys dodging wrecks. Everybody doing the best they can at this live track. We get another car off there on the S turns. Because we got Bo McPherson grabbing his car for some reason. Maybe a body issue. Little pit maneuver there. Because that car really is hammering down the mail, it looks. I'm hearing a loud whistle as it sounds like possibly a gear's about to go. I don't know whose car that is. It might be the blue car, Paul Woosley's. Keep an eye on that blue car, as it sounds like 1 second here as I help Jay real quick.
Red flag. Heat over.
All right, and that's the end of that heat. We'll try to get into TrackMate real quick and see how things are going. As Gerald Suttle with 154 total laps. I'm going to kind of talk where you guys can see it. Currently, the best guy on the heats for black was Tim Hall, which he's really good on black. The best on purple, of course, Gerald Suttle. Looks like the best on yellow, Robert Whitaker. Currently the best on blue, Tim Hall. Best on orange, looks like Gerald Suttle again. Best on green would be Paul Woosley with a blistering 31 laps. I couldn't get to the other two before we got cut off there. Go to the pits here as we got a minute and 40 seconds before we start. You guys can get a look at what these guys are doing here. Maybe I can help you out a little bit. As we see Robert Whitaker there, looks like he's possibly oiling some of his bushings there. Jay Latham just currently you see he just come in here and he lost a couple body pins and stuff. Sometimes this stuff can get quite frustrating. I know for excuse me 1 second.
Starts in 1 minute.
All right, I'm back. As you see, Jay
Race
Latham
starts in
frantically
40
trying
seconds.
to get his pins on his body taped up. These bodies notoriously known for being super thin and really needing to get these pins either taped on, or what I like to do is sort of these little brass pin holders in. And
Race starts in 20 seconds.
once you get them sorted in, then you can put the pins inside of the tape, and that keeps them a little bit stiffer. Plus, it's easier to pull the bodies and stuff like that off. So we see Jay Latham with 5 seconds before we start seeing the lights drop. He's going to try his best to get back out there. So we got 9 seconds before we go green.
Get ready.
And you see Jay just in a full sprint. He's not going to lose much off of this. Jay used to race with us down in the basement too. He's used to trying to get in them little tight spots real quick. Oh, it looks like we might have had a rider there on white, Robert Whitaker's lane, or maybe it fell out and came back in. Ooh, Robert Whitaker really
Yellow flag.
hit a car there pretty hard, it seemed, as it was coming out of the high banks there.
Go.
As we go green again. It seemed like that purple car of Paul Woosley's was really getting it around that straight stretch. Good top speed.
Yellow flag.
Got a rider, it seemed. One of them come off of the high banks there. I'm guaranteeing almost that that's, yep, red, white, or green.
Get ready.
To be blipped. I believe that is Jason Howard's car there on red as he comes back in on this heat.
Go.
And these guys are really hauling the mail. As we see Paul Woosley currently with a 4.11 median lap time, currently the highest. laps turned, though, let's take a look as Tim Hall leading with 158.
1 minute
Carl
left.
Decker with 151.
Halfway
This
through
will
the
be
heat.
coming out after this heat. Bo McPherson with 123. Paul Woosley currently with 86. Jay Latham with 82. Randy Kirtley just back in for a couple of heats with 69. Jason Howard with 55 and Sam Nelson with a 49 laps turned. Let's get a little love tap there for Bo McPherson's car on the back stretch. Rounding up underneath Dead Man's Corner there, you see Tom Payton there with the eagle eye underneath the track, keeping a look for any kind of cars that could possibly end up on his side. We got Ed calling out bobby pins. Most likely those are Jay's bobby pins, as he's went through 2 sets of them so far.
Get ready.
Everybody doing really well this first race.
Go.
About keeping their cars up here. Got all 4 of the
10 seconds
cars
left
up there. And all of them seem to be track marshaling. One thing I like to tell racers, and I've found this a few times on cars that I
Red
picked
flag.
up that whenever I was track marshaling, is that don't get your guide flag so tight
Heat over.
that whenever you pick the car up that it's stuck over to the left or the right, as it makes it a lot harder to put it back on the lane, as most people will pick your car up and try to immediately put it back on. So if that guide flag moves back to the center and you got it loose enough to do that, it just makes it a whole lot more beneficial for you and for the track marshaller. So we see Randy Kirtley there turning 26 laps on white, currently in the lead on white. 29 laps on red, currently the leader on red. 26 laps on green, currently second to Paul Woosley's. So Randy Kirtley, keep an eye on him as you're going to start seeing him going up also. Let's take a quick look again at that trophy. As a lot of the racers this week have come in and said, man, that is a really nice trophy. Felled 4 prints to get this trophy printed. I ended up felling 4 of them. And the last one kind of went pretty well. But anyways, I think it's pretty good for these racers to get a little bit of something for their winning efforts. Plus, you know, for what Howered Construction's done for Lanes Raceway, you know, it's kind of an homage for what he's done. So, you know, we appreciate that, and also we want to, you know, give that representation on every one of our trophies that we're going to end up making to Fairview IT Management for their gracious amount of giving for both our rental cars and for this Cup Series. We got 1.8 minutes left in this heat, as we're going to take a quick look back at the pits. Of course, I love looking at the pits and watching these.
The race
guys
starts
work on
in
the
1
cars.
minute.
See Jay Latham there, still working vigorously on his car. The one thing I know about Jay is he's determined, and Jay will work on that car and get it just right, and he's a front runner here at Lanes Raceway. One of the only guys to get back-to-back wins.
Race
And
starts
Randy
in 40
Kirtley-
seconds.
Kirtley there just left also.
Race starts in 20 seconds.
20 seconds before we get started here. Jay Latham not so frantic this time to get back to his controller. Standing next to Sam Nelson and Randy Kirtley there.
5 seconds.
Paul Woosley on the end of the track there in the black shirt. Randy Kirtley currently on blue. Like I said, keep an eye on him as you're going to start seeing him climb up the leaderboards.
Get ready.
See our current leader right there, Gerald Suttle with the white beard. Gerald Suttle used to be a famous known wrestler, and take a look him up. So we get looks like Tim Hall's car coming off on the back lane. on white. Tim Hall's car really hooking up compared to Ed Howe's car there on red. Possibly
Yellow
Ed Howe
flag.
giving a little blip action there. Okay, thank you, Eddie. I'm going to take a look in it and see what's going on with YouTube currently.